What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Welcome to the Shred Show and Operation VA. We are go, go, go. I've got some of my favorite guests hanging out with me today. I've got the one, the only Mr. Bryan Bergjans hanging out, looking as awesome as ever. That golf shirt he's wearing, I'm not gonna lie, it's fire. He's looking good. And then we've got the talented, the lovely, the incredible Miss Lindsey Litton hanging out with us as well. She is like swagged out with the mill housing today. I'm loving her hat. I'm liking the shirt. She is looking phenomenal. And we are talking about something today that I talk about till I'm blue in the face, but Lindsey is going to be sharing some tactics, some strategy, some know-how when it comes to Facebook groups, when it comes to really niching in a certain demographic, veterans in particular. Are you trying to serve a veteran community? You want to grow a group? You want to build your contact list? Lindsey is going to be sharing those secrets with us today. She's absolutely brilliant in this. She actually has a course coming up. She's going to share it with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to want to miss this show. We're talking veterans. We're talking growing your pipeline. You're not going to want to miss it. Are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. I literally look forward to our Operation VA segment every single week. Number one, because we get to serve veterans. I get to hang out with Bryan, and then there's a bonus. I get to hang out with Lindsey too this week. It's just like everything's stacking in my favor today. I love it. But welcome back, Lindsey Litton, to the show. And of course, Mr. Bryan Bergjans. Every single week, him and I run Operation VA, and we truly try to serve our veteran community, and we try to help all of you when it comes to that. And what we're going to be talking about today is just one more opportunity, one more way to grow your pipeline, to grow your influence, and make more of an impact within those communities. So we're going to be talking about that. Lindsey's actually going to be sharing some of her know-how, her knowledge and expertise when it comes to that. So Lindsey, welcome back to the show. It's been a few minutes. I'm glad that you're back here with us now.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Bryan, for having me. I'm always excited to share the stage with you guys. You guys are awesome.
Well, excited to have you here. And Bryan, lots to come with, I mean, you and I have talked, we talk VA every single week, but some more big shows in the future to come, some things that you've been working on in the background. Again, guys, I say this every single week, but I really mean it. If you don't follow Bryan and what he's doing to serve our veteran community, and especially the mortgage VA community, you really need to. And that's why we do this show, is to bring that knowledge back to you guys, because our men and women of uniform, they have served us so valiantly. They've served us so heroically. And Bryan has literally dedicated himself and his career to serving our veteran community, especially within the mortgage. So we got to tip our hats to him. We got to appreciate what he does. And Bryan, you continuously, you're doing it day in and day out, sir.
Yeah, if you would ask the 21-year-old Bryan who, just got out of the military, if this is what I would be doing 20-something years later, I would have told you highly unlikely. So, but I love it. Serving in the reserves and being in mortgage at the same time, they kind of go hand in hand. I got my industry. I just want to help these, men and women out who want to become homeowners. And it's funny because we look at it like it's such a simple task. Okay, you go and apply for a loan and you do the stuff and you give them your pay stubs. But yet when someone has no clue about how it works, it becomes extremely difficult. And also too, it's the largest asset. I mean, it's the largest investment someone will ever make in their entire life. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing. And it's all relative to them. So it could be 150 grand, could be 2 million, could be whatever. Irregardless, it's the biggest investment for that person and that family. So you really got to take all those things into consider. That's why I really take a lot of pride and have a lot of enthusiasm and passion around it, because it is, the biggest investment they'll ever make. And when you start to really talk to a lot of these folks, it really is the dream of homeownership. Like they really do, like that is a goal in the life, is to have a home, raise a family, and all that cool stuff. So that's why I'm really excited to have Lindsey on the show, because Lindsey and I always talk about this stuff, the business development side of things. And whether you're helping veterans or whatever demographic you're looking for, the stuff that she's going to throw down today will help you get ready for next year. So enough of me. Let's go to.
I was gonna say, let's go to our better member of our conversation today. She's easier on the eyes. She's so knowledgeable. Plus, she's fun to hang out with. So, Lindsey, before we get into what we want to share today, for those who don't know, you actually are a co-founder of Mill Housing Network. So, share a little bit about that. So, for anybody who's unfamiliar with it, so we can continue to help that channel grow, share a little bit about Mill Housing for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I'm an active duty military spouse myself. I am the co-founder of Mill Housing Network. It was co-founded on the values with my business partner, Karina Gafford, on connecting military families with amazing resources when it comes to moving. That's it. And so what we do is we help our military families get connected with pre-screened realtors in all locations that they're moving to so that they can have a positive experience when it comes to buying a home. Why do we do that? Because I had so many experiences when it came to me personally before I got into real estate, having difficulty with, just the move process in general. And I thought there has to be a better way. Why not create the better way? And that's what Mill Housing Network does. Oh,
and see, that is one of those things that people don't even understand unless you've gone through it. We've talked about the whole moving process when it comes to the VA, and until you've gone through it, until you've experienced the nightmare that it can possibly be, you don't understand what an awesome organization that you guys have and everything that you do to educate us as mortgage and real estate professionals. Because all you real estate professionals, you need to know there are certain things you need to understand when it comes to helping a veteran family move, to relocate. And you are doing such a phenomenal job when it comes to that education, which is exactly kind of as we transition here, you have an upcoming training course, if you will, something that we all need to, and I talk about this a lot, Bryan talks about it, we talk about it on the show a lot, is getting educated, getting trained, understanding if you want your business to grow, if you want your pipeline to grow, if you want to continue to succeed, you have to become educated and trained in the right processes, in the right action steps every single day. And you actually have an upcoming training coming out. Tell us a little bit more about that, when it is, how can we get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I hear so many agents, they come to me all the time and they're like, Lindsey, how do you connect with these military families? Where do you find these military families that are moving? Before Mill Housing Network was a network, Karina and I had a real estate team in San Antonio. We were connecting with all these military families. The thing that they said was, I just want to take you with me to Georgia. Can you guys come with us to Alaska and help us buy a house? So what we saw was that these military families were reaching out, trying to find resources wherever they were going. They didn't have one central place to do it. Well, where were they reaching out, Josh? It was happening in Facebook groups. So we built our entire business actually through Facebook groups and through the Facebook platform. And to date, we've closed over 100 million in referrals just through Facebook. So what we do is what the platform's designed to do. We create Facebook groups. We facilitate meaningful conversations in the groups. We help people get connected with the right resources in the groups. We moderate the groups to make sure that the content in the group is quality. Because you can have a huge group with a bunch of, unquality content. It doesn't mean anything. And then over the years, we've learned how to grow our database through Facebook groups. And why should LOs and real estate agents care about that? Well, guys, military families are buying houses every 3 to 4 years. If you have a Facebook group that continually stays in contact with folks, 3 to 4 years from now, you can work with that person again. So Facebook groups are just an extension of how to keep in touch with people. It's a great way to stack your pipeline. And the activities that we do today are building tomorrow's business. So I can't believe that I'm saying this, but starting to do this year is going to impact your 2022 production. So
imagine that.
We got a couple things to help folks. We just launched a platform called Mill Housing Agent Network. I'll send you a link, Josh, so that you can share with folks.
Yeah.
It's free to get in. It's in beta right now.
Very
and
cool.
In the platform, you can get connected with other realtors to start sharing referrals. That's where we're going to be hosting my upcoming class. And I'm going to teach you how to turn Facebook groups into a pipeline stacking machine.
Oh my, there was so much in there that I want to unpack. There's seriously, there's so many pieces, but I'm going to start with this. First and foremost, you're telling me Facebook isn't dead. It's still a relevant place to be, right? And so many people have said, well, Facebook groups, and I've even said this at times, but I still see and you've mentioned this, Facebook groups are such a huge, there's so much potential conversation and engagement that can happen. Now, with that being said, you keyed in on something, and I want you to talk about this a little bit more. You personally, if it's your group, if it's you and a friend or a co-partner or co-founder of it, you have to be involved, right, Lindsey? Like, you can't just set up a group, get a bunch of people in there and expect them just to like converse and to engage, right? You actually have to be engaged yourself.
Yeah, so that's what we're actually going to teach in the training. So I'm going to teach you how to set up your Facebook group right from the start, how to utilize questions. So Facebook groups, you can utilize 3 questions for your group members to answer before entering. And if you have one of those questions is, what is your email address? Because I'm going to send you some sort of really big value add piece. I also have an automatic tool that you can set up so that all that data is collected, pushed to a spreadsheet, and now you're adding people to your database. So I'll teach you how to set that up. But to go to your value add question, yes, you have to show up consistently in your Facebook group till it reaches a certain point. When it reaches a certain point, then the community starts to take over and it takes less of your time. But in the beginning, we've got a bunch of hacks on how to grow quickly, how to create value content, and then how to utilize scheduling tools through Facebook or other scheduling platforms that will help you get content out there so that you're not constantly sitting on Facebook. Because that's a lot of what I hear from people is they're like, you constantly have to be sitting on Facebook. Well, it works for you because you're not, doing all these other things. Listen, guys, I am a busy mom of 2 kids and run actually 15 Facebook groups with a community membership of over 30,000. It can be done, and we have it on autopilot, and we're going to show you how to do that.
Well, and that's just it. Some people think, and I'm not saying that there's not some work involved. We're not trying to tell anybody that it's just like, oh no. Yeah, like it's just gonna grow organically and things. You're gonna get in with a great group, and it's just gonna. No, it takes a little bit of work. But you mentioned something I'm all about: showing up. That's why we call it shred, ladies and gentlemen. Show up. You have to show up to these groups. You have to be present in these groups. And if you do, and if you add value, Bryan and I have talked about this, you can show up in a Facebook group. And if you're just there, people can see through your bullshit really, really quick. Yeah, like if you just show up to be like, oh yeah, I'm here to serve. I'm here to be part of the community. By the way, send me your referrals. That's what I'm here for. I want your referrals. I'm here to help you. People are like, dude, that's all this gal's about. They just want my business. You have to show me you care, and especially veterans. Like you're getting. Why Bryan and I share this today? Because Bryan and I, again, we want you all, you mortgage and real estate professionals out there, if you want to serve the veteran community, Lindsey's going to teach you specifically how you can niche in veterans communities. Maybe you want to focus on first-time homebuyers. Whatever it is, this is going to apply to all of those. But specifically when it comes to our veterans, like you need to know those conversations, those talking points and those engagement points that actually are meaningful to veterans.
Well, and the cool part about Facebook groups is, and I teach classes at local, market centers, at brokerages about Facebook groups, and people are like, well, that works for you, Lindsey, because you're in the military space. And it's like, guys, it can work for anything. And that's the beauty of the group. So I've literally took somebody from one of my trainings, his big thing was auto racing. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to literally in 10 minutes show you how to create a Facebook group about automobile racing. Right. And we did it in 10 minutes. And within 10 minutes, he had a referral in his private messages. And he was like, oh my God, it worked. And I'm like, yes, you can do it for anything. Obviously, I suggest doing it for some of the best clients out there. And that's our veteran and military community. But it can apply, the same principles can apply to anything. And it can apply to the lending side on the mortgage side, or it can apply to the real estate side for the realtors.
Well, and Bryan, I know you are part of all kinds of Facebook groups. You and I have had this conversation. We're part of, back when Clubhouse was a big thing and LinkedIn, there's all kinds of different like groups that you're part of. And you've seen this firsthand when it comes to adding value. Those who have established groups, some of them are not veterans who established the group, but how is it that you have seen when you find that group where it's like, hey, you know what, this group is truly for the benefit of the veteran, you being a veteran yourself, how is that compared to other groups where you just like, this is a waste of my time?
Well, I think, obviously me being in this space, like professionally, and then also as a active military member in the reserves, my whole thing is credibility, right? So like, I don't ever very rarely will you see me put out feedback or make suggestions or questions or answer anybody's stuff in any of the groups that I'm in, really. I just try to stay away from that because there's so many other people that try to jump in and answer stuff that it gets so diluted anyway, right? I don't even know if you ever looked at some of these groups. One person asks a question and they get 45 answers, and to be frankly honest, maybe 5 of them are the same, and the other 40 are something different. So it's very confusing and for a consumer. And then of course, one of my biggest pet peeves is people who don't actually know the answer but want to be, answering the question just for relevance and probably so, for they can get liked and all this other stuff. And the answers are not even right. I mean, I remember one time I was on Clubhouse and I heard somebody tell somebody that they wouldn't qualify for the VA loan unless they deployed multiple times.
No, geez. Could you imagine?
And I think I was texting you when I was like, oh my God. And people were like, hey, yeah, great feedback, man. Great feedback.
Nice
and
work.
It's like, so I just think, with Lindsey's, philosophical approach of creating your own groups, you get to police your own domain, right? So if you are big on, credible, valuable information, you get to police your own group and only let folks in that, provide that type of feedback. And I think that's what's important for me within this space or any space, even if I was specializing in FHA or USDA or whatever, I would only want people to be able to provide the most timely, honest, accurate feedback possible.
Exactly. And Lindsey, that's exactly what you're going to be teaching in these groups.
Yeah. And I want to go you one more and to talk about what Bryan just said. So I want to call out the elephant in the room here. Facebook could change their algorithm tomorrow. And if you had a group of 50,000 people, Facebook could take it over and you're out, right? You're out of the game, right? So what I teach in the course is, okay, if Facebook was to go kaput, whatever, the only thing that you own as a marketer or as a business is your database. That is the only thing that you own, right? So we set it up from the beginning, how to get contact information out of your Facebook group so that you own the database.
So smart.
Because if you don't own a database and you have 50,000 people roaming around in a group, I'm telling you guys, Facebook could decide tomorrow groups aren't the thing. We're going to pull it and you're done. You're out of business. Now you're left figuring it out. So I think it's really important that you set it up, owning the database from the beginning, adding value to the database and not spamming people. And we teach you how to do that as well. But you got to show up. You got to provide value. If you provide value, it's like providing the honey. The bees will come.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's a 100%.
That's a good one right there. Yeah, well, that's a good one. We need to, put that under the summary for the
right. Team, clip that one. That's such a good one. But what you're talking about is so true. I tell people this all the time. And actually, I've talked about this in the past, is Facebook was they were kind of straying away from groups there for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then you actually had Clubhouse come around. And then things are like, oh, wait a minute. Like, we want people to be conversing. We want people here. But the fact of the matter is, if the government decides to shut down Facebook, if Facebook shuts its doors tomorrow, you have to be thinking ahead. And that's why this training course from Lindsey is so brilliant. You have to know how to capture your database, whether you've got 50 or 500,000 people in your group. If you don't know how to capture that database, it's useless. Like literally anything could change tomorrow. So you have to know how to gather that, how to converse without outside of that. So make sure you guys we're going to get the information. We'll post it down in the links on all of the social channels. So you guys you don't want to miss this training. It's so incredible that Lindsey is giving us and sharing her expertise with you guys. Like this is just something you need to know, especially like she said in the very beginning, if you want to grow your pipeline, if you want to grow your business and you want to grow your influence, these are the things you need to be doing. So I'm so excited for it. I'm going to be part of it. I know people are like, well, you probably know. I can always learn something new. I'm always looking for new opportunities to learn, to grow, to train myself. So there you go. I'm excited to get. And like I said, we will definitely post all the information below about Lindsey's course. And when is it going to be, Lindsey?
Thank you. So I'm going to give you guys a Facebook group. Go to the group, and we're going to have all the details in the group.
Yes,
Nice.
cannot wait.
Well played. Well played.
I say, look at that. She's a master in her own class right there. Like, hey, go over here to my group and I'll show you what's up. I'll show you what's up. So we will post a link below for sure. And guys, as we always do, we're here to serve you. We're here to serve our veteran community. Like I mentioned in the very beginning of this, Lindsey and Bryan both do a phenomenal job in giving back to our veterans, giving back to this entire community. And we're going to continue to do so. That's what Operation VA is all about. And we're going to do it every single Wednesday. You can expect to be right here on this channel and in our Shred group getting this information. So with that, Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us today. Bryan, as always, thank you so much for setting it up and being here. And again, sharing all your wealth and bank of knowledge with the community. You guys are awesome. You guys are just so much fun. I could just hang out here all day with you guys. This is a good time. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Operation VA was a success. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you join us live, comment hashtag Operation VA. If you're joining us on the replay, comment hashtag hustle, because you're out there, you're getting it done, then coming back right here to get what you need to be successful within your business. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's your turn to go serve our veterans. Show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.